All right, let's talk about this tragedy regarding the right off the bat, the Guthrie what? Nancy Guthrie, is it an abduction? Is it a kidnapping? Is it a murder? Is it a missing woman? What is it? You don't even know what it is. We're presuming it's a kidnapping because there have been some discussions about ransom, maybe. Let me tell you something right off the bat. I have never, ever heard of anything like this. Ever. Sometimes, remember that Kohlberg creep? Whatever his name is, Kohlberger, whatever the hell his name is. Remember that one? They said, why aren't you doing anything? Well, it turns out they were really, really on his trail. So that was, sometimes they give the impression that, well, we're not exactly, we're not exactly finding we don't really know who the suspect is, but they do. This isn't that case. Now, as a prosecutor, former prosecutor, defense lawyer, working with cops, as a trial lawyer, my whole thing is proof. Proof. Can I prove it? I don't care what you do. You can arrest anybody you want. If I can't prove it, there ain't no conviction. And I'm always looking for, how would I defend somebody who might be caught up in this? Because if you don't think like that, if you don't, you miss the point completely. You see, it's one thing to look like, TMZ and that's great. And I'm not sure what that indicated, but I think not TV, not NYPD Blue or Blue Bloods. I think reality. And in order to prove things, in order to get a conviction, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt certain things. And that is what's critical here. Now, first, let's make sure we understand a couple of things. Number one, I do not believe that there has been any evidence, anything, unless I would bet anything that Savannah Guthrie is not responsible for her mother's abduction, her mother's kidnapping, perhaps death, because let's face it, let's get this out of the way right now. If I had to bet, and I hope I'm wrong, this is a bet I hope I lose, but rational thinking indicates to us that it is most probably the case that she is no longer with us. I'm sorry. And we can talk about that. Where is the body? Because when the sheriff, this sheriff, says, well, it may take years to find out. Wait a minute, years to find what? Her or the body, the remains? Do you hear how they're always missing something? There's always this piece of information that you want to say, well, can you fill me in? No, sorry, that's it. It's like, imagine this. Instead of me holding up, and I want you to think about it like this. A little background. When I would do an opening statement, not the final argument, opening statement is when you say, the evidence will show. You hope the evidence will show. It's what you're telling the jury. This is where we're going. I used to always imagine that if you put together a puzzle, you don't know what each of these pieces mean unless you see the picture on the box of what you're trying to put together. For example, if you see something, if there's sky and there's grass, and if I were to hand you a tile or a piece, you say, oh, this must be the sky, and you put the sky over here, and you know what I'm saying. You've done this before. I hope kids, by the way, still put puzzles together. There's something very wonderful about that. It's not so much the puzzle, but how you talk about stuff when you do. In any event, that's my move for puzzles. So what this is right now is a different story. This is a story. This is this Chris Nanos, who is so over his head. I don't know if it's because he's a Democrat, if it's because they're trying to make Trump look bad. I have no idea. But instead of me holding up a picture of the box, the box of the puzzle, they're handing you a piece. What is this? Figure it out. Remember what this looks like. What? And this looks like. Wait a minute. What does this mean? None of it makes sense to me. It's surreal. You know the fact that got me the most, that blew my mind the most, was when the pool contractors show up. Wait a minute. Hold it. What? You mean to tell me that the people in this little town, I mean, Tucson's a big, but you're a pool cleaner or contractor? I guess these people were. They didn't know that the woman on your route, this name is in the newspaper. I keep saying newspaper. I'm so I'm so ancient, but is in the news. What? Imagine them. Hey, what's going on here? Must be some kind of a problem. It's like, this is a crime scene. Get those poles. Get out of here. What are you talking about? I don't understand. That's the one that got me. It has nothing, Chris Nano has nothing to do with that, but it goes to show you this whole case is like inverted. It's like an Escher drawing. It's weird. None of it makes sense. Nothing. They show you pieces of evidence that mean nothing. They show you things and say, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't know. And then you have everybody who is every cop, retired NYPD or LAPD or Las Vegas PD, everybody's FBI profiler, SWAT team, they're going through the Rolodex, as though they have a Rolodex. Everybody you can imagine, come on our show, just say anything. For the love of God, say anything. And nobody knows anything. They don't know anything about what they're saying. Nothing. They know nothing. They haven't been able to tell you anything. And how would they know? They're not a part of this. And then you have stories of, and this is important, turf battles. You don't want the FBI coming in and getting credit for this, but you don't want to be the idiot sheriff who somehow was viewed as obscuring or putting his foot down or ruining this investigation. You don't want to do that either. So nobody knows what they're doing. And whatever you do, please, I beg you, for the love of this woman and her family, keep Kash Patel out of there. Don't make this yes, make it a cause celeb, so to speak, but don't ruin the seriousness of it. So let's go back to what we're doing. Where are we right now? We don't know. Now, I'm going to tell you what I would do and what we would do if we actually were in charge. If I was in charge, if I was there, remember, I'm trying to put together a case. I want to convict the person. I don't want to just make an arrest. I want to convict him. Because without an arrest, what the hell's the point? I mean, without a conviction, I should say. All right. Number one, I would want to know, can you tell me, ladies and gentlemen of the team, that every bit of this property has been gone over with a fine-tooth comb? Every centimeter, every square inch of this place. Has it? Every backyard, every tree area, every within a reasonable amount of time. It's a good piece of property, but it's easier because it's all dirt. And there's not grass, and there's greens and shrubs. And hell, did you see when they found one of the gloves? There it is. It's like there. It's on dirt and gravel and rock. It's in the desert. You mean you didn't get this? How could this have been found? How could this have been found? I'm not suggesting that this was placed there. I don't want to, shades of OJ, but I want to make sure. Tell me the condition of this glove. How long was this supposedly out there? We're looking at 2 weeks. 2 weeks, what, 15 days? I don't. So things like that. Can you tell me that every square inch, and if not, why did you not secure this entire crime scene up to and including the pool and the pool house and the garage and anything around this piece of property? There should have been yellow tape or whatever that they should have been guarded. Nobody goes in, nobody goes out. Nobody. I don't need you there. I don't need you to come back and come in and ruin my crime scene. That's number one. Number two, in no particular order, can you tell me whether she actually was in that house. Was she in her bed? What is the evidence inside? I don't know. They said, well, the garage door opened when she came. Okay, was she inside? Can you show me a picture? Remember, we never saw pictures ever of Charlie Kirk. We don't know nothing about that. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to try to memory hole this and just kind of have us just look the other way. They're distracting us with this other nonsense about Savannah and the brother-in-law, and we'll get to that in a moment. So the question is, did she ever make it inside? Was she in her bed? Is there any trauma there? Is there any blood? Are there sheets? Is there what does it look like in her bed? Did she ever make it there? Tell me the narrative. Why was the back door open? Do you think somebody would come through the front door? Who comes through the front door? Nobody does. The door. Now, again, stop for a minute. I'm ruling out that the people who did this are, I don't want to say retarded, but stupid, or really who don't know anything. Let me ask you something. If I said to you, hey, listen, we're going to go to this house, but there's a Nest phone. Don't call it a ring phone. It's a Nest phone. It's a Nest. Okay, all right. What do you think we should do? They've got a camera in there. What should we do? Now think about this. What would you do? Are you still thinking? Yeah. If you thought more than 5 seconds, you shouldn't be doing this. Piece of duct tape on the window. That's it. On the glass. That's it. They used to do spray paint. Remember in the old days they would do the spray paint whenever there would be the closed circuit TV? You put a piece of tape on there. That's it. You don't have to smash anything. Now, the black tape may have some kind of a signal, some kind of a circuit, something where the device interprets it as some kind of malfunction, maybe. But I would not be. And here's the best part: he takes his gloves and he's going up and saying, what are you doing? What is this? I'm putting my hand on them. Okay, fine. Then, what? For example, what about the foliage? Whatever he's there on the lens. He's picking. Here's some grass. I'll put some grass. What is he blessing the lens? I don't know. So he's an idiot. Here's the best part, too. How do we know who this guy is? You may think, well, that's the guy. I don't think he's the guy. Now I'm a defense lawyer. I'm saying he didn't do anything. He's an idiot. He changed his mind. He left. How do you know who he is? Because we found his DNA. By the way, what's this DNA? In the old days with Bill Clinton, we knew what it was. It was semen, blood, but a skin cell. Good luck with this. I mean, sometimes this DNA is pretty durable, but you don't exude and flake and spread and broadcast as much DNA as you think. I don't know what they think about DNA. Where's this DNA coming from? Well, the glove, he had his hand in the. Okay, fine. Look at it. Maybe there's something in there. But the thing I'm saying is that fellow at the Nest camera, I don't know who he is. Did they ever say, yep, he's inside? Or we have him on another camera? Who is he? Tell me who he is. Don't just show me a picture of somebody walking. If you think that's the suspect, tell me. But the fact that they're not telling me it's the subject or suspect, and maybe they're doing it because they're just incompetent, tells me volumes. Who is he? I don't know. And then they're saying, who he had arched eyebrows. And they're superimposing. They could put Savannah Guthrie's face in there. And by the way, again, do you really think Savannah Guthrie, honest to God, had her old lady whacked, her old mother? Come on. Come on, please. Now, we'll get to the brother-in-law. Let's get to him right now. Ashley Banfield keeps saying, I've been doing this for 40 years. And I have a Rolodex you can't believe. I know names, I know people, I know everybody you can imagine from top to bottom. Everybody, you name them, and I know the name. I know the name, I know who they are, and they know me, and I'm the best. And I'm Ashley Banfield, and God darn it. And I've got it on impeccable source, that the main suspect is that son-in-law, brother-in-law, Tommaso Gione. Tommaso, you know, the Italian. That's him. That's the guy. Now, why are you telling anybody this? I'm just curious. Part of the thing, I understand the First Amendment. You're a reporter and everything, but why would you? What if this guy is as stupid as these other people who didn't know? What if he didn't know he was a suspect? What if you just gave him a reason to take off or kill himself or kill somebody else or figure the gig's up or destroy evidence or I don't know? Why would you do that? Why? Why? Especially when everybody's saying, I don't know about that. Even Nanos, he doesn't know what. I don't understand it. I assume, either the FBI or somebody you said, no, it's a good idea. Go ahead and say it. Now remember, the FBI, as much as you or I may question the lucidity of one Mr. Patel, the FBI knows what they're doing. Don't ever misunderestimate them, as somebody once said. Okay? Now, next. I don't know what's happening with him. Where is he? Where's he been? Somebody tailing him? Somebody watching him? Is somebody getting a search warrant or whatever the equivalent is on his phones? Is he calling anybody? Did he have a bit? I want somebody on that. You just announced him as the suspect. Well, damn it. Maybe he'll do something now as the suspect. Maybe something stupid. I would have had everybody interviewed a gazillion times. And if he is a suspect, get him to take the fifth. Have him sit down. And tell him, listen, remember, Miranda warnings are only read and must be read if you are in custody and you're being interrogated, but kind of as the suspect. But you got to be in custody, meaning you're not free to leave. So if you're just talking to him, if you say, hey, Tommaso, let me ask you a question. What do you think happened here? Now, I'm just asking you as a witness, like your wife, Annie, and Cameron, the brother-in-law. I'm just asking you. But if you're asking him as a suspect, you got to read him the rights. And it might be good to say, listen, Tommaso, as you know, that Ashley Banfield, she's a character, isn't she? Yeah, she sure is. Listen, she said you might have been a suspect in this thing. You know what? Just for the sake of argument, you don't have to answer me, right? So you don't have to. Okay. So, but let me just read you these warnings. And if he says, I'm not answering any questions, that's it. That's our guy. Don't kid yourself. Most people, when you're a member of a family, say, oh, no, ask me whatever you want. Listen, do the right thing, but I'm going to help. Most people don't take the fifth. They really don't. If you're in the family, and also, I would have also had each of the family members aside and says, listen, let me ask you, what do you think about him? What do you think about Tommaso? Huh? What's his story? I've always, he never liked my mother. Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nancy hated him. He tried to steal money. He wanted to borrow money. Who knows? I'm sure all of that has already been gone through repeatedly. But for some reason, he ain't in there. I don't know where he is. Maybe he wasn't a part of the family before. I have no idea. Now we get into this. Is this a kidnapping? Or is this an abduction? These are important concepts. An abduction is normally, basically, I picked you up and I took you somewhere. There's another statute too, false imprisonment. This is where I impede you from leaving or I take you somewhere. Basically, I control your movement. Abduction isn't really a crime per se. It depends upon the jurisdiction. But still, kidnapping is interesting. Kidnapping is an abduction, a taking, but for the purposes of asking for something. Asking, for a, asking for, to say something, to join us. We want you to be a part of our cult. I want to marry you. I kidnapped you so you could join my cult. It's for a purpose. I kidnapped you because you're a political person. I kidnapped you for a ransom. We normally think about the ransom. I kidnapped you to make you a bride for the purposes of doing something. It was a purpose. It wasn't just grabbing you. And normally, for example, Ted Bundy, for example, abducted his victims before he killed them. It wasn't really a kidnapping. He just grabbed them and was going to kill them. I don't mean to parse this. In all practical consideration, nobody really cares, but there is kind of a difference. Kidnapping implies, at least the kind we're used to, some type of a ransom. And don't be surprised. You remember Elizabeth Smart? By the way, watch this piece on Netflix. She was gone for over a year. She was gone. 9 months. Okay, almost a year. But here's the thing. Then there's Patty Hearst, the other famous one. This is when she was involved in the Stockholm Syndrome. Remember this? Remember when you had, what am I trying to say? Oh, yes, you had the SLA, the Symbionese Liberation Army, Donald DeFreeze, Cinque or Cinque, depends how you pronounce it. That was interesting. A fascinating take. So you see how this kind of sort of works? It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So you also look at that, and you look at some other things which are very, very important. And some of the things which I find even more problematic is, why is the demand, if there is one, so vague? Did they or did they not demand from somebody $6 million in Bitcoin, and then if for the release of, through Harvey Levin, through TMZ, through, I don't know why they did that. That's number one. The second one was, for 1 Bitcoin, we'll tell you who did it. That's kind of a different, it's not really a ransom. It's like, listen, I'm not even a part of this, but I know who did it, maybe. Or I know where she is, or it's different. Well, what about that? We don't know. Then there's the second or third deadline. Well, the first deadline has passed. What is a deadline? Deadline to me is pretty self-explanatory. It's a deadline. This is the deadline. No, we have first. I've never heard of this. Have you? Our second series of deadlines has passed. The first. What are you talking about? How does this even work? How? What is going on here? Okay. I don't understand this because they've never explained this to us. Where it's coming across, it might be, believe it or not, all of this confusion giving the bad guys the impression that maybe they're going to get away with it, because maybe they are going to get away with it. Maybe they're going to get away with it. Maybe they're actually going to get away with it because it seems so monumentally confused, these people. They really... So, the bottom line is simply this. Where are we today? When the sheriff says, we might not find her for years. What you mean her remains? What? And then, now, remember, there's some things, who was it, supposedly, who was it, some cable news folks are saying, we need to get to the bottom of maybe she should take a polygraph or something. I was saying, okay, look, let's don't get carried away here. Sometimes when people start talking, you have to ask yourself, I know we may not like Savannah Guthrie. I think she's as phony as anything. The grin, this forced, cutesy, whatever you want to call it, I don't buy it. I don't understand it. I don't know why but what's interesting to note, believe it or not, is there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people who are really asking. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how do I say this? They don't know how she is involved in this thing. There's something wrong about her. There's something very, very odd about this. There's something very strange about either her behavior or I don't know what. And I understand. I dig it. I understand the whole thing, believe it or not. But I don't understand why it has become to the point where it is this confusing. Now also, what does this do for her career? I know nobody's suggesting this. And believe me, I'm saying this is merely tangential. Does this help her career? Does she go through the roof? Does the Today Show finally get something? When she comes back, when they welcome her back, will this inure, I hate to ask it, but somebody's got to, will this inure to her benefit? Will she, and this really isn't a part of the investigation, but it's kind of an interesting media take. It's hard to say, because today, anything that gets you any attention, any metrics whatsoever, works for you. So here's the bottom line. Where are we right now? It's a very simple thing. You've got the family. You've got these videos. All of a sudden, they'll show a video of you in somebody's garage. Who's this guy? I don't know. And then you'll show somebody else who maybe worked with And what you're doing is you're tipping all these people off. Then we find out, by the way, that apparently Bitcoin wallets are not very secure. You know exactly who's. I thought Bitcoin was like cash. You don't know who's got it. But apparently not. I don't know. I think Bitcoin doesn't need any of this problem right now because there was this notion of anonymity, because the whole reason about, hedging with Bitcoin is in case, the black helicopters come and there's a complete police state, you can always. So anyway, that's that. So as we stand right now, who is it? Here's what I have always believed. And when I tell you I believe this is my working kind of what I think makes sense, but not holding true to it or holding firm because I don't really know. Because this is near Mexico, you've got a lot of Mexicans back and forth. In the Mexican mentality, this isn't a slight, this isn't racist, but kidnapping is part and parcel with their government, their lifestyle, their world. The Sinaloa cartel. Mexico City, somebody said, Americans, be careful. They will kidnap your ass like that. It's done. They hear about it constantly. So if you're from that world, that's where I look first. Number 2, this woman, Nancy. A lot of people came. Pool cleaners, this, whatever. The people who normally service a home. It's a substantial home. She's probably got a big mouth. When I say big mouth, she's a proud mother. My daughter, Savannah Guthrie. Maybe Pedrito was somebody put 2 and 2 together and said, oh, okay. This might be interesting. Who knows? It could be also a burglary. Now, as far as actually kidnapping, that's one. I think what might be a little bit more probable, again, just what sounds good, a plot that I think is more likely to have worked out, what sounds better, I think, is something to the effect of maybe either a burglary that went bad, a botched burglary, a surprise, somebody came in, somebody overreacted. Very rarely do you have professional burglars. The second story man, a real expert. Oftentimes it's opportunistic. They're going to go in. They don't really know. They've been around, so you would think they would know kind of where. Whoever doesn't know about a Ring or a Nest camera today, you're not paying attention. There were Ring camera communities who talk to each other. We know somebody who told their neighbor, I don't want you getting a Ring on your phone because you can see, or your door because you can see my door. And it's part of who we are. It's ubiquity. It's omnipresence. So the idea that you can probably go and look around and see where they are, Rings are, you're just hip to it. If you're an entry-level burglar, just entry-level, nothing special. And when she goes in, who knows what she said? You don't know if there was a language problem. Was she mean? Sometimes 84-year-olds can be irascible, and who knows? Somebody gets pissed off. Somebody hits her. Who knows? Once you are in, remember, burglary is okay. If you're coming in at night, that means they're going to be there, and that's a whole other story. Daytime burglars are a lot more reasonable because, first of all, they can blend in. They can be there. A lot of cars come and go. But also, a lot of times people are not there. Most people are away or at work. There's a possibility. But at night, 2 a.m. or whatever it is, and I need to find when the time was that they suspect. But that's a different story. So that's also very scary. You came in knowing she was there. Also, this pacemaker, when it is disconnected from her watch, it doesn't mean that it's disconnected or it doesn't work. It just means like anything else. You ever wear earpods? And you have your phone here, and you walk down the hallway or you walk outside in the backyard, and all of a sudden, you can't hear them anymore. It becomes disconnected because the Bluetooth has gone too far. That's what happened. It's not that the pacemaker didn't work or stop. It's when somehow it became distanced from the watch. Did she have the watch off? Is that what they're trying to guess? Maybe. I don't know. I wish there was some kind of a GPS that somehow these things had. I wish there was some way of monitoring. You don't want to put a lot of, telemetry in something that's in your body because of health considerations. But let's face it, we're all going to be chipped one day, and you would think there would be some way of kind of approximating kind of where she was or how the signal was, or maybe, who knows. I'm just imagining I know about Bluetooth technology when I in fact don't. So that's it. So I want to know, was she inside? And I got to see the crime scene. Was there blood? Is there anything? Is there indication of more than one person? That's always good. One person gets caught, one person talks. Usually there's teams. Not always. Not always. Sometimes one guy might say, you know what, I got an 84-year-old, I can come in there. And the thing is, again, I don't think there's any evidence of the front door being breached, but there's windows in the back. Was anything smashed? That's where I'd go in. You always go through a window. You go through a window. It's easy. A lot of times those are not, it's so funny. You maybe have had this. The number of people I know who have, for example, a nail. They have a nail in their window. They have a nail in there. Oh, we can't lift it up. Break the glass. Or got a sliding glass door. Look, I've got a broom I put so you can't open it. I'll break the glass. Have you seen glass breakers? You ever watch those TV shows where they breach the windows, where the cops, Karen's getting arrested? There's this little hole punch. It just shatters stuff. I mean, it's incredible. You could just you don't have to hit anything hard. It's fast. So many things could have been done. But I need to see the inside. I need to see inside. And of course, there are people who need to know whether all the blood's hers. And you can look all you want. You can do your Henry Lee imitation, whether it was dropped, a face, a wound, who knows. That's where the forensic people come in. It tells you a little bit about what I mean, people describe those blood drops, as either gushing or drops or who knows. I need to know what the professionals think. And also, did they stop? Did the blood stop? Meaning there's a car right there where she was put in the back or the trunk or whatever. Was she incapacitated? That's all that. We also have to find out, what was this medication she was on? This medication, what was it? They say it's life-sustaining. I mean, was it blood pressure medication? Some of this stuff, cholesterol, you need it, but you're not going to die necessarily. I got to buy this, I got to use this medication, or I'm going to die. I don't know. Not a physician. All these things work into it. But where are you, the information, the data, whom have you spoken to? Whom have you researched and interrogated? Give me the list. What area has not gone over? If you have said, we found a glove, you should have every square inch of that area reviewed so you can say, no, somebody added that glove. Why? Because we were there the other day and no, there was no glove there. You got to ask yourself, why are we doing this? Is there confusion? Is there cooperation between the FBI and Pima County? Are they trying to make this guy look? I hope that some Republican stalwart's not going to say, you know what, we're going to make this guy look like an idiot. This guy's a real pain in the ass, this Nanos, we're going to show you. You'll never work again. We're going to make you out to be the biggest Barney Fife anybody's ever seen. Or worse, Warren, for those of you who remember the show. Also, bottom line is, as the time elapses, as the story becomes more muddled and confused, you lose momentum. You lose trust. You lose faith. You get sloppy. You say, oh, what the hell's the point? Now, all of this might be for naught because we're not involved in it. They might have a suspect, just like the Kohlberg case or whatever, Kohlberg. They might be just, waiting for something, some event. Who knows? I doubt that, but it could be. It could be. So bottom line is, my take, Mexican workers, an attempted kidnapping. Second, maybe more likely, botched burglary, botched home invasion, something like that, where she was there maybe because they want her there so they can say, show us where your jewels are, whatever. And that's it. Now, everything else, the brother-in-law, I can't see it. I'm sorry. This guy for you to be involved directly in the abduction and the kidnapping and the ransoming of your mother-in-law, and assuming there's been bad blood, you're going to be targeted immediately. You're the first one they're going to come after. Are you kidding? And where's this 6 million or million, whatever your cut is? Too many people talking. Oh, and how about this? Remember the ransoms? $2,500. $2,500. $50,000. Savannah should have been right off the bat. She should have done a lot of things. First of all, buy her mother a subscription for the ring for the Nest phone. Put up her own. Here's $5 million. I got $5 million. You think NBC was it? Forget 5. Here's 10. You put a reward up, man. You'll have people coming out of the woodwork. It's like they don't want to find her. It's like that movie. What's that? Desperate People or Terrible People? Or Danny DeVito or Bette Midler, where they kidnap her. He doesn't even pay. This is none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. And what about this? Finally, thank God Savannah stopped putting out these impassioned messages where we're wondering, what was that about? What is she saying? Is it coded? We want to celebrate with her. We will pay you. Huh? Is she alive? Is there something we don't know? It was weird. It was so interestingly framed. And the second time when she was made up and looking down at the camera, remember that? It lost its... The first one was a sense of real... It was shot where you felt empathy and sadness for the family, as well you should. But the second one was different. It was like more staged. She was by herself. Okay, this is Savannah the star talking. Now listen. I'm going to talk to you about that. It was a different... Again, am I just reading too much into this? Am I just reading too much into this? I think I am. So what do you think? Your responses have been fantastic. So like the video, I got to tell you that. Subscribe to the channel. And also I've got some questions coming up. Let's talk about this. I read every single comment. I try to respond. I can't answer them. I'd be spending my time answering the comments as much. But let's do this. And let's chat. Because this is how we solve it. We're like an impromptu grand jury. Okay? And if you pray for this woman. She had nothing to... She doesn't deserve this. I believe she's dead. And now it's a matter of, do you return the body and what state is it in? And I don't want to get into the notions of putrefaction, but it's not going to be pretty. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious and a wonderful, wonderful day. Everything notwithstanding. And I'm going to be talking more. Please, what do you think? What do you think? Let's talk about this. Comment as you see fit.